Wow, is it already 12:12?
Yeah.
South or north?
You're going,
I'm gonna go north, right?
sorry, buddy. That was my fuck up.
No worries. We'll just turn around.
Yeah, we gotta turn around. It's actually, this is the problem of looking at the thing in your hand instead of what your eyes are showing you right in front of you. It's like the ultimate looking at the map and not the territory. Like I'm looking at this thing going, no, it says to go here. And then when I could have just looked up and said, we're going north. That was a teaching moment right there.
Hiking.
So, let's talk about practice.
Yeah.
So we were talking in the car about, you were saying how you like headlessness as a practice. And part of what we were talking about back there was this, we made this differentiation between top-down and bottom-up practices, right? Do we need to go over that again?
Yeah,
like
let's
how
go
we
over it
do
again. Just.
I'm just trying to start with a meta picture of it as like, you know, trying to say, is there something that all these different traditions and including the Western humanistic traditions have in common about what they would want for people, for other human beings? And largely what people want is to people have a good, fulfilling, rich life where they feel connected to the world around them. I kind of see it as like there's two sets of approaches. There's approaches that come at it from the bottom, and there's approaches that come at it from the top. And to come at it from the bottom is to basically say that, you know what, I'm going to slowly raise my baseline levels of being concentrated and being clear and being friendly and being easygoing, and that over time, as you begin to build up those levels, that the overflow begins to spill into your life, and that your life begins to become more fulfilling or more meaningful and these things. So it's like it's a kind of model that we would be familiar with if we were thinking about exercise, you know, slowly building
reps.
up capacity,
Yeah.
reps.
You're either training from the bottom up with reps, or you're starting with a premise that like you're already awesome, shit's already awesome, and see if you can get little glimpses of it.
Right, exactly.
That's the top down.
So the whole thing is the top down is actually, you're doing reps of that as well in a way. But the main thing that you're practicing is a kind of cognitive, like a reframing of your experience. So you're just like, you're practicing just saying, hey, can I have a different perspective on what's going on right now in my experience? And so you just, time after time, you tap into these little tastes of having a different perspective, and over time something catches, and that new perspective locks in a permanent way or in a more deep way. And you'd say, and in practice that could be incremental, it's slowly building up. There can be big jumps where, oh, this is really cool. Yeah.
This is great. Finally,
So
you're getting what you wanted.
yeah.
Actual hike. This feels like bottom up.
Top down is when you fall. So there's top-down practices that are about noticing the weird existential fact of your existence, or noticing your awareness and taking your stand there. But there's other ones that are just like about trying to reframe your experience. So some top-down practices are like, okay, what would it be like to walk around feeling like reality loved you? You know, it's like that you're getting a warm hug from the world, or like, so it's just like saying, what is it like to walk around with an optimistic mindset? And you just fake it until you make it. It's like, okay, pretending that the sun going down is like interested in loving you.
I have a friend who's a pastor who does this practice where he walks down the street in New York City and tries to view the world as if he's got special glasses on that are like that have a Jesus filter, which is so that he loves everybody, loves his neighbor as he loves himself through these lenses. Right. That's a top-down practice.
That's exactly
right
what I'm talking about. That's a top-down practice, and it'll actually build up, first of all, that friendliness as a default response.
Yeah.
But it also becomes a place that you can orient to any time. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot about spirituality that's just basically about skillful means, like cognitive resets of your
Training the mind.
Training the mind.
Well, it's training the mind in a bunch of different ways. There's,
Right.
like, as we've said, the bottom-up rep style or
Right.
the top-down.
And it's fundamentally playful.
Yes.
You can play with your experience. You
Absolutely.
can remix your experience like a DJ, basically. So we'll just start by taking a few deep breaths.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So we'll just start by taking a few deep breaths. As you inhale, you can sort of stretch up your spine, find this little alertness, like, oh yeah, here I am. And then as you exhale, it's sort of like the downward motion. So just relaxing into the chair or the cushion or wherever you're sitting. And as you exhale, just letting everything be soft. So the eyes are soft in the forehead, and the jaw is soft in the throat, and soft through the chest and shoulders. So this practice, actually, the one we're going to do right now, is kind of a lot about softness. It's about openness, about noticing where you're braced and softening that so you can be more free-flowing, more open. So the way to begin to find this in our experience, one way is to actually do it in relationship to my voice. So imagine as I'm speaking that the sound wave is just floating right through you. So it's like you're totally transparent. There's no rigidity. There's no bracing against it. You're just letting sound of my voice, but the sounds all around you. If you're at a place that's got distracting sounds, just totally stop fighting with them and just go completely transparent. So the sound all around is just passing through. It's just like you're an open container. Sensations in the body coming and going. Aches and pains, things that seem permanent, but if you really look at them, they're kind of slowly changing in little subtle ways. All that stuff is passing, rising and falling. Sometimes quickly, like a sound passing. Sometimes really slowly, like an uncomfortable sensation that just seems to be there for a long time. So this openness, this poise, there's something mature about this. It's like you're just sitting and allowing all things to be there. Sounds passing through, sensations rising and falling, thoughts being there in the background, coming up, coming down. So for the main meditation, the instruction is just to try to stay with this feeling of being an open container, this open shape through which experience is passing. The open container is your awareness, the whole wide bandwidth of your experience. Letting everything just be there, rising and falling and passing through. And for some people, will find it's easy to kind of maintain a stance of just being open and don't need an object to lock into. For others, they'll feel like, I kind of need an anchor or something, someone to put my attention. So if you do, you can just very lightly be aware of your breath or maybe a sensation in the core. But mostly, keep your attention on the sense of being an open container. Good. Just noticing there might be some uptightness in your experience. Maybe you're having thoughts and you got judgments about that, or some tension. If you notice that, just seeing if you can kind of soften that, softening the face and softening through the belly. Remembering you're just kind of sitting in this way that has no resistance. Totally open. There are no problems in experience. Thoughts coming and going, surrounding sounds, all just sensations happening, passing, coming up again. Just trying to connect to that perspective. And if you get caught up into thought or caught up into worrying about some discomfort, just seeing if you can remember this thing of being an open container, letting it be there, kind of panning back the camera. Just all this wide bandwidth of experience passing through. Good, and you can really kind of play with this. Like, how open can you be? How totally undefended? Just letting the edges of your awareness sort of expand out. And we can continue the exploration here. We can go even further, kind of begin to include the sense of space around us. So you may be noticing the full posture of the body, the open container of the body, experience sort of streaming and moving through you. And then noticing the space the body occupies, the full volume of it. Realizing that you're sort of made of space. Your experience is made of space. And then around you too, the sense of space and wherever you're sitting in the room, or in our case, sitting on this rock in the forest. Sending your attention into the sense of volume around you, height above you, to the left, to the right, following sounds out. Space below you, behind you. You're surrounded by space.
How wide can you send your attention? How open can you be with how wide a container? Way off to the right, to the left, above you. And noticing that as you send out your attention, you're sending it through space. Good. So we've just been exploring this idea of openness. This is a quality we can find in our experience. Kind of exploring a little bit with space and seeing how wide and open we can place our attention. We can feel ourselves as sort of that real open container. Now we're going to kind of come back into containment a bit. So it's just, this part is just about reconnecting to the body. So sometimes when you get into those big expanded states, it can feel just like you're kind of blown wide open. So now we come back and you just start by just noticing the feeling in the body. This sort of body full of sensations, quite juicy body, tingling and warm. And let it be something kind of pleasurable, like you're enjoying this feeling of coming back. Coming back in and noticing the feeling of the ground underneath you or the chair, pressure on your seat. This feeling of being connected to the ground, letting it root you. Good. When you're ready, you can open your eyes.